taken me to another level of awareness along with the Course of Love and the Course of Miracles. But this is the message that we got. This is deep. Teach what you would learn. In order to teach yourself that you are not a person, you must teach others that their personhood is also false. You teach yourself that you are more than a person, and you teach other people that they're more than a person by not believing that they are a person yourself. So when I look at you, I don't think of you as people. I don't think of you as people. I think of you as spirits, consciousness, awareness, beings. He says, you look beyond their story. That's how you go beyond a person's personhood to their divinity. You look beyond their story to the one you know they must be. And that is what you hold in your mind as you listen to them. Oh, that's powerful. I'll say it again. You want to see the people in your life, you want to take them beyond the limits that they think they have. Let's say you're talking to a funeral relative and they're running down that same old yang stuff you're always hearing people talk about all the time. Which is what? Something outside of myself, but somebody outside of myself is doing something that's making me unhappy right now. Okay, the regular story that we all hear. All the time, all right? So what do you do when you're in the presence of a person that is saying, I wish everybody and everything around me were different and then I'd be happy? He says, well, what you do is you look beyond their story. You remember who they really must be, and you keep remembering who they really are while you listen to them. So you listening to them talk like they're a person that's a victim of some situation or circumstance, but you're steadily remembering that they created that, 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 they are powerful and they created that, they created that, they created that, they created that, they can change that, they created that, they can change that, they created that. So while the person is going off like people go off, what you're doing is you're looking beyond their story to who they must really be, and you're keeping in your mind what? That they are not a victim all the time that they're talking. So what I'm doing right now with the Course in Miracles, for instance, is I'm no longer applying it to myself. I'm applying it to everybody else. So instead of saying I'm not a victim of the world I see, I would say my class is not the victim of the world they see. If I'm talking to a relative and they're upset about something, then instead of saying I'm not a victim of the world I see, I say, well, my son is not the victim of the world he sees. It's so powerful to apply the truth to other people. It'll transform you. Try it sometimes. Because what happens is that we'll apply the truth to ourselves and then become hard on ourselves and judge ourselves and still make ourselves feel responsible for what other people around us are going through, as if they're not creating their reality, as if you are the one that's creating it. So all of a sudden you believe that it's up to you to make everybody happy, instead of realizing that just like you're creating the situations that you're dealing with and that you're changing and that you're taking the time to change your perception and you're studying and you're reading and you're trying to be a more loving person, that's exactly what you got to allow to be true for them also. Which means that you are no more responsible for their happiness than they're responsible for yours. And just like you're saying to yourself and to everybody around you, I no longer am holding you responsible for my happiness, you have to also realize that you're no longer responsible for anybody else's. You got to apply the same truth you're applying to yourself to other people now. You're taking the truth and you're beating yourself over the head with it too much and just thinking about how it applies to you. And so Spirit was saying, now it's time for you to turn that around and you apply the truth to everybody you know, and you accept it as the truth for them, even if they don't agree or believe it. So as far as I'm concerned, you are unlimited spiritual beings who are creating your reality, and that you can have happiness beyond your wildest dreams. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can attempt to do it, you can attempt to do it. So what does that mean? That means when I hear your story, I know that your story isn't true, and it doesn't have anything to do with what's going on with you. And I know that you can change your mind and change your life in an instant, and the story is just a reflection of your own fear to be happy. Your own fear of happiness is your story. So what I got to do is remember, it's just your story. You're making it up. You're not stuck in anything you think you're stuck in. And I don't have to say it to you. I don't have to write it to you. I don't have to email you to let you know it. He says, I just have to see you beyond your story while I'm listening to your story. I'm going to see every one of you beyond your story while I'm listening to your story. And that's how I free you from the story that limits you. And that's how you will free me from the story that limits me. Don't believe me for a minute when I'm saying something that's saying I'm a victim of anything that's going on around me right now. Don't believe me for a minute, but don't tell me it's an illusion. I'll say it again. Don't believe me for a minute, but don't tell me that my problem is an illusion. Do not do that with people. Do not tell people that their nightmare is not real. You just remind them that they're safe right now. They will only hate you when you tell them what they're going through is an illusion. So when you do that, you know you're looking for attack. So don't get upset when you get attacked. If you say to a person, well, you know that's just an illusion, then they're going to hate your friggin' guts. They're not going to like it. They're not going to say, oh, I'm so glad you told me that. Especially if they really believe it. If they don't really believe it, then they'll be glad to hear you say it. If they do really believe it, they're mad to hear you say it. So how can I tell whether I'm dealing with somebody that I need to say it to or not? Listen. Listen. First of all, if they're in the middle of blaming everybody for what they're going through, that is your clue that they're in an unconscious state right there. That's all you need to know to keep your mouth shut. It's because they're not talking from a conscious place. And if they're not talking from a conscious place, they're not listening from a conscious place. If they're not listening from a conscious place, when you say something conscious, they're going to have an unconscious reaction to it, which is they hate you. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. You just remember the truth for people and keep your mouth closed. Remember the truth for people and keep your mouth closed. Remember the truth for people and keep it. And then what will happen is your own life will be transformed. Your own situations will start to be healed. Because at that point we're finally actually obeying God. We're obeying the truth. Because every time I try to correct you, I'm further making myself believe that there is a you to be corrected and a me to witness you needing to be corrected. So the mere fact that I'm trying to correct you is witnessing to the idea that I think I'm separate from you. So the way that I know that I don't think I'm separate from people now is whatever I see them doing, I ask to have it corrected in my own mind. Hello? Whatever you think needs to be corrected in someone else, ask that it be corrected in your own mind, because there is no one else. You're just seeing your own self, your own thoughts. That's suppose you're seeing crappy thoughts. Does that mean that that's all that's out there and that's what I am? No, that just means I'm seeing the story. So what do? I feel the feelings. And what do? I choose to look at it differently. What do? I tell myself I hope that I am wrong. What do? I ask my body as a learning device to give me a loving lesson that will help me go beyond this fear I'm going through right now. Body, my learning device, I give you permission to do your thing. I give my learning device the permission to do what it was made to do, which was to free me and free you. It's neutral. You're innocent. And you're juicy and cute. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming out. Enjoy those neutral learning devices. I love you.